Ali. If you a card carrying for them, show off your ID. Know what you Ali, prophet know what you Ali. And if you're not, you must proclaim your nationality. You taught us love is the truth, consider conquer hate. You taught us peace is Islam, and that you can't debate. You taught us freedom's in the line, cause it's a mental state. Justice only blind with a law, cause this you can't escape. It's tag day, so we celebrate history. Ali, if you a card carrying for them, show off your ID. Know what you Ali, prophet know what you Ali. And if you're not, you must proclaim your nationality. You taught us love is the truth, consider conquer hate. You taught us peace is Islam, and that you can't debate. You taught us freedom's in the line, cause it's a mental state. Justice only blind with a law, cause this you can't escape. It's tag day, so we celebrate history.
True history of the Moorish people at that point by these initiates, and that America was Americanos. We got the name America from Americanos, not from Amerigo Vespucci, and Americanos means El Morocco, and that Morocco was the Sultanate of Morocco was the ruler of America at one point. Now This goes back into a very deep history. And he was here, he came back to America to teach the so-called black people, which were really of Moorish descent and heritage, their true heritage. And that this whole stuff about African slaves, I mean, look, there were a lot of slaves brought over from Africa, don't get me wrong. But this was not where all the black people came from.
I'm a Moor. Got sense enough to know I'm a Moor, and ain't gonna never argue with you that I'm not a Moor, and wouldn't come in your house or come among you and say I'm a Moor if I didn't feel in my heart, in my mind, in my soul that I am.
If you don't understand that, get that together real quick.
And recognize how you've been miseducated, not just by Europeans, but by your own. These people know that you're not black. They don't doubt it. They know that you're not black. And they know that you're Moors.
Greetings, greetings, peace, peace. Islam, Hotep, and Namaste. This is your girl, Jennifer Lynn STEELE, and I am the CEO and founder of MAAT DIVINE Podcast and Ministry. Tonight, we have some wonderful ladies on stage with me tonight, and we are opening up our doors and letting you all into our world of nation building. Now, tonight, we wanted to bring something really nice for you all about the mystery behind Noble Drew Ali. So, what I will start with is the mystery that everybody keeps talking about. First, I want to give thanks to Minister Mia Morbay for being here tonight. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Thank you, Goddess Wisdom Shield Ill, Sarah of New Al Andalusia. Thank you so much. And Sam Foster Bay from Umau. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all for being on tonight. Thank you so much. Ooh. Now, before we get started, Empress Sam, you want to go ahead and bring us in with the prayer, and then Wisdom Shield Ill, you can follow her behind your prayer. Islam?
Okay, this is the MAP, the Moorish American prayer. You can repeat in silent and sit in benediction, silent benediction. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, through our holy prophet, Drew Ali. Ameen.
You're on mute, Empress.
I said, Islam. Oh, great God of the universe, Mother of the universe, Mother of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We give great gratitude to the Elohim, the seven spirits of Allah, who made and created and invented everything that ever was and ever will to be. Gratitude to the illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali, our illustrious prophet who brought us our nationalities and came to teach us to be ourselves, our higher selves. Gratitude to the universe and our righteous ancestors. Almost gratitude to our righteous ancestors, for we are who our ancestors were and are, because they're not dead, they're still alive, they're still on the scene. We give gratitude for this day with the MAAT energy, the MAAT spirit. We give gratitude for the sisters on this call today, on this meeting, and everybody that's in attendance. All the Moors, as my voice ring out across the globe, all the Moors, for their divine protection, for the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice that dwells in each and every one of us. All of us Moors, we're the gods on the land. We have no fear, because fear is false evidence appearing real, taught by the colonizers. And we have come above and out of that dumb stupor of thinking and risen to the top, knowing that we are the gods. And as we speak it, and as we think it, and as we say it, and as we feel it, it manifests in and through our lives. Gratitude for each and every Moor on this planet, all the Moors from state to state, individually and collectively, doing great things during this era of time that the prophet has told us about. Ending the time of the wicked and the demonic beings that have been on our planet. Even though if it's the black ones and the Caucasian ones, those demons have to go at the sound of our voices. Right. The matriarchs, the women, the matriarchs are rising to the top in their rightful place, strong and powerful, mighty as we are. We're joining together in love and happiness. And we are telling the Most High God Allah each and every day. We're invoking our right in the universe to letting them all know that we are so much in gratitude for the love and light that they have given us, the light that lives in all of us, the still small voice that speaks to us. For we are the chosen ones of Allah. We are together on one accord each and every day, doing magnificent things. We're never departed, but we are one. For we are all children of one Father, provided for by his care. And the breast of one mother has given us suck. So let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy Father's house. It ain't nothing but love with us, love and light, shalom and peace. And as I speak it, we have shalom and peace in our lives. We have tranquility in our minds. And we have balance in our minds and tranquility in our homes, each and every one of us. Peace and prosperity, health, wealth, and abundance of love in abundance come to us each and every day. Everywhere we go turns to gold. Everything we touch turns to gold. For we are worth our weight in gold. The gold is us, the silver, the precious metals of the earth, the planet, and everything therein is the Moors. And we give gratitude for this and all other things, for such a great podcast, for the matriarchs on this call, and give gratitude for every more listening today. I say I mean it. Islamism.
Islamism.
Islamism, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Namaste. Yes. So you all, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dialogue because Mia Bay, her power kind of went out. So she's going to come back in to do the presentation. So she can't get on with her computer. She's going to get on with her phone. So what do that mean, you all? That the frequencies and the vibrations is going to be high. No question about it. So,
that's right.
Again, for you all that is joining in, we have these beautiful empresses, goddesses on stage for me today. These ladies is doing all that they can to help uplift fallen humanity. They is putting the work in every day. They is doing the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice that we are here to do for each other. And it's so beautiful because a lot of people don't see the matriarchs doing the work. Let's be honest. They only see the men getting together, doing the holy days, bringing, the knowledge and the wisdom, but you don't really see the women. But we are truly doing the work. Do not think that we are not. If you all can read the bottom of the screen, it says the matriarchs are no longer lost at sea. We are back to salvation on the land, and we have a job to do, and we is here to do it. So the reason why we bring in this tonight is because after our last podcast, I got so many messages, you all, so many emails, well, what about this for Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Well, was he truly born Thomas Drew? Was he born Timothy Drew? What really happened to him? And I'm like, oh my God, okay. I'm going to have to get my matriarchs. We're going to have to come back with one of our study groups and just come together and just bring it all and just dialogue with each other. So until she come in with the presentation, tonight is called The Man Behind the Movement. And the key discussions that she's going to help and bring is it Thomas Drew or is it Timothy Drew that was born in 1886? He founded a movement around 1913. He taught that African Americans were Moors with a lost nationality. He also introduced the Circle Seven Koran. So a lot of people want to know, was his mission spiritual liberation? Was it political identity, restoration? Or was it both? Another thing that people wants to know, was the temple incorporated or was the temple chartered? Now, this is where the mystery comes in, you all, because historical records show that the Moorish Temple was incorporated in Illinois in 1926. But further research and deeper investigations that has done shows that it was chartered. So now we have two different things that we're trying to figure out. Was it chartered or was it incorporated? So we're going to go a little deeper into that later on. And then we're going to go about, was it incorporated for religious only? Or was it meant as a national government structure for Moorish Americans? Now, if it was incorporated, did the incorporation protect the movement legally, or did it transform it into something the founder never intended? And then we're going to go with the religion versus nationality. One of the most unique teachings of Noble Drew Ali was that Moorish Americans should claim their nationality. And his teachings included nationality is the key to civilization, encouraging members to identify as Moorish Americans. So again, was this simply a spiritual identity or an early form of sovereignty movement? Now, one of the questions that followers have believed and asked me was it a spiritual temple? Was it a national government, or both simultaneously? And then an important thought that another listener said to me was, if the temple was chartered and incorporated, does that make it a church, a nation, or a hybrid? So I was like, wow, these are some wonderful questions that these people is asking me. So I said, okay, we have to come on and just dialogue and just give our theory on a lot of things. Don't take our word for anything. Whatever we saying tonight, go and do your due diligence and research and study. Now, I'm going to bring up the presentation that Mia Moore had put together for us. She's still not on, But we don't want to stop anything. We want to keep the things going. And the universe is going to bring her in a divine order when it's time for her. Islam?
Islam.
Okay. Let me go with this. Now, this is the presentation that she created. It's who was Timothy Drew Ali or Thomas Drew Ali? That is a mystery that we all are still searching for. Now, what I will stop for a moment because I'm going to have to just freestyle and ad lib her PowerPoints. Oh, hold on, you all. Hold on. Let's see. Is she here? Are you here, Empress?
Yes.
Yay!
Oh, MG. Oh, MG is all I can say right now.
Hey, as one of my YouTube ladies say, won't stop, can't stop, can't stop, won't stop.
I just talked to the prophet. He got it done. That's all.
Okay.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Well, Empress, I was getting started at the beginning of your presentation, which was who was Timothy Drew Ali or Thomas Drew Ali. And so you can go ahead and get started and we'll go from there. Islam, I'll mute.
Had you already did the introduction to move to the next page?
Nope, I started right here and the universe brought you right in when it was time.
Well, you can move on. That's just a beautiful photograph of Noble Drew Ali. Just wanted to show that. And for some reason, is my camera on right?
Yes, I see you. I see you.
All right.
You know, we have, for those of you that is not in the Michigan or Detroit metropolitan surrounding areas, we have a very bad windstorm. And we got the wind is like up to 60 miles right now. But we're going to still bring this high frequency and push as much as we can. Islam.
And if you don't mind, Jennifer,
yes,
Jennifer, you can start the reading for me.
Okay. 501c3. Oh, and you know what? While I'm going, if everyone would mute their mics, it would be better. The crowd would be able to hear us as well. Islam. Okay. 501c3. Category requirement / restriction key details. Purpose exempt purposes must be organized and operated exclusively for charitable or charitable, educational, religious, or scientific purposes. Operations private inurement. Net earnings may not benefit any private shareholder or individual. Governance private interests must not be organized or operated for the benefit of private interests, insiders, lobbying action organizations.
All right. We just wanted to I don't know where we at or what was said before I got here, but we just trying to bring and kind of like, put out some of the kind of like look at some of the conspiracy theory that's going on around Noble Drew Ali in the temple and what he brought the Moors. And he really did bring us something. It wasn't nothing laid out to us. He really brought us something. And that was something I learned in this deep dive in the study of the prophet. So I just wanted to give the definition before we can understand, it's a lot of skeptical and a lot of conspiracy theory saying Noble Drew Ali started a 501c3 and it's only be ran like a church. And then we have some people saying Noble Drew Ali started a charter, and that was and that's a religious organization that's incorporated, and he put us back under the state, back under the jurisdiction of the colonizers. So just by him incorporating, so we want to just show you the evidence and let you come to your own conclusion for yourself. I started off as just deep diving in some information that I see a lot of people are being very skeptical about, like, whether Noble Drew Ali have a 501c3 or did he start us a charter? And if he was a charter, then what do that charter consist of? What do that mean, a charter? So we can move on to the next slide. You can actually read the slide that's showing.
That's fine. The religious goal. The legal charter resort to proclaim nationality, created a body politic, a government-like entity, to teach the divine creed, protected by the First Amendment, freedom of religion, to manage temple property, allow the temple to own land without taxes, to protect the prophet, created a corporate veil, the prophet versus the corporation, Islam.
And so we see there's a deeper and significant distinct in the Moorish community between being a 501c3 nonprofit and being an incorporated religious charter. Specifically, the 1928 body politics is what Noble Drew Ali created. So Noble Drew Ali did not set up a charter, and that's what some say. He did not set up a charter, because we're going to stay here. We're going to not make any claims. We're just going to bring the evidence and let you decide for yourselves. So he said did not set up any charter. The answers to the RRS, he established a free nation government through a specific type of state incorporation. So that's what we're, so the 501c3, and as we read after the 501c3, we see that Noble Drew Ali set up something a little more specific than what we see was brought in the 501c3. And as we see when we look at his religious goal, what he had on the charter, his related goal for the nation in the divine creed, in the temple and the prophet. So we can move to the next. And ladies, you guys can all elaborate, come in anytime you want to. So we can go to the next slide.
Okay. The religious goal, the legal charter result, to proclaim nationality, created a body politic, a government-like entity. Oh, we went to this one. And then we got again to teach the divine creed, which is protected by the First Amendment, freedom of religion. Let's see. There,
and you're going to see that a lot, divine creed, because you're going to see us saying the same thing kind of a lot, because what he did, it's basically what he did, and every step he did kind of like was to support the same things. So you would see divine creed a lot because he made this step was to protect the divine creed. So you're going to see some of the same things repeated, but not the same steps to protect the same thing. So so you can go back to the one you was just at. So the religious goal, is that the one we just went over?
Yes.
Okay. So this one kind of just explained, his religious goal was to create a charter, to get the legal thing was the charter result. He was making legal moves. So when people say Noble Drew Ali didn't do law, doing a charter, that's a legal move. That's a lawful move. So that's a lawful move. So he and proclaim your nationality, he created a body politic, and is operated like a government. It's a government entity. When you create a charter and a body politics, that's like a government entity. So to teach the divine creed, to teach the divine creed, he was trying to protect the First Amendment of freedom and religion, and to manage temple property. So these are all the things that he created, what he created to do. And these are all the things that what he created that he meant for it to do, to protect the body, to protect our First Amendment, and so that the Moors simply can own land, and they can incorporate and the prophet want to cooperate with the corporation, so it'll be corporation against corporation and not corporation against us Moors as we see today. Islam,
if I may, sis.
Yes, go right ahead, sis.
Well, that 501c3 designation originated from the Internal Revenue Code of 1954, which the Internal Revenue Service is of a de facto nature, and it was something that was derived from the colonizers. So it has nothing to do with the Moors, and its originality has nothing to do with us. So therefore, the prophet could never have had or contributed to any such 501c3. That is not him. And then when it comes to them not understanding, when we talk about religion with the Moors, it's not like the Christians' religion. Religion with the Moors is the same as sovereignty, because our religion is Islamism. I self-law am master. So that religion with the Moors means our sovereignty. We're all gods on the land. We religiously get up every day. It's a thing where you can religiously play basketball, and you can religiously clean your house, that type of thing. Well, we religiously show love. We religiously live in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So our religion is Islamism. So they can get it mixed up if they want to, but we know who we are and whose we are, and that we are the Moors and the first people on the planet who created and always dwelled in the attributes of Allah, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's our religion. Islam, I yield.
Islam. And to add on to what the sister brought, can you repeat the date that the 501c3 was established again? Can you repeat that date?
1954.
So Noble Drew Ali died when?
1929.
1929. So he couldn't have never established a 501c3 because the 501c3 is not even law. And he wasn't even no such thing as a 501c3. So that debunked the 501c3 without a doubt or a contradiction. Now, if more temples are, some of the temples are doing the 501c3, they're not doing what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali left. They're moving on their own accord, starting their own membership and thing. So it's so significant that we understand what Noble Drew Ali did. I mean, I just come to love him after this research. So
point of interest.
We can move to the next one. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Point of interest.
Yes, sister.
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say, that was due to the infiltration. The prophet was infiltrated. He told Emily that there were to be no more temples to be opened. He said that. Wow. A prophet only opened 7 temples, and I am in Cleveland, Ohio, which was one of the temples that was open, which was temple number 7. He stopped. He's told Millie no more temples because he knew of the infiltration and how they was going to take the temple and turn it into a church.
Islam.
Because and we see that today. That's why it's an argument right now today about what did Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And it's real simple. It's a real simple answer. 501c3 wasn't even established when during the Prophet Noble Drew Ali time. So he couldn't have even contributed to a 501c3. That couldn't have been nothing that the prophet done. Now we might see some more might be on the 501c3, but we can most definitely say it didn't come from Noble Drew Ali. It didn't come from what he started because he was dead by the time the law even created the 501c3. And so you can actually look that up yourself. Because of the weather and the time. I didn't get a chance to put that into the PowerPoint, but I had to. You really need to go yourself and read this, what the 501c3 is and what day it was established, and you will see yourself the evidence is clear cut that Noble Drew Ali had nothing to do with a 501c3 because he was dead and gone once they established that law. Shay, you can move to the next slide.
Islam. Okay. And what I want to say really quick before
I can help you, I can help you with the reading because we're just stick straight to the PowerPoints because it comes with so much information and my computer keep blinking for my notes to elaborate with extra. So we just use us and what we know here, what we got have in our heart and what we have learned and studied about this research that we've done. So the state charter what the state charter did was it gave us legal body. It gave us a legal body. And the federal 501c3 law gave you your tax exemption status. even though we want a legal body over a tax exemption status. So we're going to look at this chart, and Empress, you could read the chart, and then the next time you could read the highlights, and then I'll just go over the chart.
Okay, Islam. But before we get started with me reading this part, I do want to add in on a MAAT level. When I hear about a lot of 501c3s being started as a temple, I go back to myself, and I always remember that verse that say, "Please forgive them, for they not know what they do." Because sometimes you haven't truly studied yourself. We study, and we study, but a lot of times we study other things and other people and get stuck in the religious that we forget to study ourselves. But the more that you start to study yourself, the picture is going to get clearer for you, and then you're going to know exactly what you do. So on a MAAT level, I always say forgive them for they know what they do. One person starts something, and we always do monkey see, monkey do. It got to be right because this person did it. So I'm going to take the torch and keep the same thing going. Islam. So next it says legal category. Do you want me to say the state religious charter? Or are you going to go from there?
Yeah, I can go over. The legal category is the state religious charter. It's just the when we go over the next one, you'll read like the title of it, and then I read the body, and then the sisters, they'll just come on in and elaborate with whatever they need to say. So and I'll just go on over this, and then we go to the next one. My apology for that. This light blinking in the off and on threw me off. Like I was just so ready, but it's like got me thinking on like, and my husband not here right now, so if it go dark, I'm gonna have to sit outside. All right, so back to business here. So the legal category is the state religious charter, the body. This is for I'm gonna go over one at a time, and then the legal authority for is the state Nonprofit Corporation Act, core documents, article of incorporation, provide liability protection, protecting your person assets from lawsuits. That's the primary goal for Noble Drew Ali starting that state religious charter. That's his primary goal. And this is, if that's his, we read in the ones before that these things were his primary goal, protecting the Moors. Creating something that protect the Moors. And as we look at this charter of a religious organization, that's what it's telling you, that this is the element of a charter. So we look at the key requirement. It's a appointment of a registered agent. That give us a good reason why Noble Drew Ali registered the charter with the Illinois, because it's the appointment of a registered agent. Then we look at dissolution rules. They say varies by state, usually just require a winding up press. So I'm just giving you these basic the basic definition that is given to us in law of what a religious charter is and what a federal 501c3 law is. So these are the laws. These are the federal laws that go with these. So we look at the I can't see that reference. It's a church origin, because my screen is cut off at the bottom. Let me see. Okay.
Which one? The last one?
Yeah, it says. Yeah, it got the church. Oh, reacquiring. So I can't
the
see
the IRS church /
Yeah, can you read that? Can you see it?
The IRS church / organization requirements.
Yeah, so we see the federal 501c3 law, the statutes, even though we have debunked this already just by telling you the prophet was gone when 501c3 even was enacted into law. So we're just still going to want you to understand, the people to understand the difference between a charter and a 501c3. So the 501c3 says it's a federal 501c3. That's a federal law, and that's the law, the status. This is the body, and this is the status. So the legal authority is the IRS section 105 501c3. I'm giving you the law. You can go take these laws, write them down, go look at them yourself, and you'll see and decide for yourself. Then the IRS determination letter. It say provided tax exemption, no income tax allowed, tax deductible, tighten gifts, and you see that tithes. That's at the church. When you tie in, that's what you're doing. You 501c3. They want the tithes and the gifts. It comes with it. Tax exemption. They get the tithes and the gifts. So strict is strict. And it say operating on originality test. And then it said the mandatory, because my screen blocking off. Can you read from there, Jen?
Okay,
my screen
it says operational and organizational tests.
Okay, yeah, my screen blocking off that other part. I couldn't see it. And
okay.
Can you read the next one? Because my screen, I can't even see it on my
end. You want me to do the dissolution rule?
Yes.
Okay, the dissolution rule. Under the state religious charter, the body varies by state. Usually just requires a winding up process.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Then, okay, you want me to do the 501?
Yeah, go ahead. Go to the next one.
And the federal 501c3 status is mandatory. Assets must go to another 501c3 found in IRS Public 557.
Islam. So these are the mandatory laws that go with the 501c3. You'll have, once you do a 501c3, you got to obey the 557, the IRS Pub 557, and the tax guide for the church is. And you go look at the tax guide for a church. The IRS guide for the church in the origin of the Moorish, what Noble Jew Ali established. You'll see that it's totally different than the 501c3 that was done under 1828. Ashe. Islam.
Ashe.
Under statutes and herds.
Islam.
Okay. Comparison chart. National status versus commercial status.
So here we see our national status versus commercial status. We see features, ecclesiastical body politics. That's what we found. Once we look on the charter, it would be there. It said plain and clear right under that charter, ecclesiastical body politics. And that 1928 mandate is what Noble Jew Ali, once he established that mandate, and he established it as a mandate once he registered in Chicago state county. Once he registered with the county, it became a mandate. And he registered as an affidavit, and that's what made it become a mandate. So here we see that the features of a ecclesiastical body politics is that mandate is a feature of the ecclesiastical body politics, and we see that the features of a 501c3 is a temple. So what I'm saying is Noble Jew Ali. I ain't gonna tell the secret. I'm gonna keep it going to the end, because you see. Okay, so legal charter. So his legal charter was a sovereign. He wanted to do a sovereign society for the people, a free national government. And that's all we ever heard Noble Jew Ali talk about, free national government. And so the legal charter, so the legal characters of a 501c3 create a private corporation. It creates a creation of the state's legislators. So the legislators Congress get to make the decision for a 501c3, and the law of a sovereign society and people gets to make their own laws for their charter. So
point
now we're going
to. I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, I'm just going to say very shortly, point of interest. And if you check out the Vatican, they came right behind the prophet and did the exact same thing in 1929. They started a sovereign state nation on February 11th, 1929, right after what the prophet did. They recognized what the prophet did. It's like, oh my God, we got to do it. But they took our stuff and hid it so they could take their stuff and progress with it.
That's right.
Islam, and by the time we do with this PowerPoint, we're going to realize the prophet was making chess moves. He wasn't playing checkers. And the reason he was making chess moves, he was protecting the queen. If you look at checkers, checkers all about the king, and chess is about the queen.
5D, baby, 5D.
Islam.
Islam.
So his jurisdiction, the supreme law of the land, and the jurisdiction for the 501c3 is the law of merchants and debts. So common law and treaties was what Prophet Noble Ali was seeking, and the 501c3 only give us maritime and commercial protection. So now the standing. So what was he standing on? A lawful beneficiary of an inherit.
Islam.
Those was his standing. So a proper person and the creditor was his standing, and for the charter. And the standing for the 501c3 will leave you as a ward of the state, the 14th Amendment citizen, subject to debts. So 501c3 and charter. Now, let's go to the next one, document-based. So document-based, what documents did Noble Ali do when he started these charters? So he created a 1928 affidavit of organization registered as a body politic. And then if you're doing a 501c3, you're operating under a legislative grace, IRS tax code. So when you the property rights for a person with a charter and a proper right for the person with a commercial status, a national status and a commercial status. So a person with for your property rights, with a charter, you're going to have registered in torrent system, absolute title, vast estate. So when you own property rights, this system create a absolute title of vast estate. But what do the 501c3 create? The 501c3 create a color title, interest only, subject to taxes. So now the identity of the Moors versus identity of a commercial status of a person who's under the 14th Amendment. Because that's what you are. When you say, I'm a 14th Amendment citizen, I got rights. But guess what? Your rights are stimulated to privileges. Only if Big Mama say you can do it, you can do it. So if you on the 14th Amendment, you need permission from Big Mama. But if you running with a nation state, you don't need permission from Big Mama. And if you I ain't gonna say Big Mama because they don't even deserve to even be called a Big Mama because that's a royal title. And you looking from the colonizers, from the pale skin European nation. When you go into the 14th Amendment, that's what you're tying yourself into. So when they teach us in school that our children are constantly learning this every day, that they're 14th Amendment citizen, and that is far away from the truth. Because their identity is the last one that is the most wonderful thing that we have to teach our children in these age and time, is that they are Moorish American national linked to ancestry land. So the 14th Amendment citizen, he's a Negro, Black, and he's colored, and he's racially labored with no national standing.
Islam.
May I interject really quick?
Yes.
So this is so beautiful, Empress. Thank you. Me looking at this, and I'm just, summarizing, listening to you as you go. Now, when I hear that ecclesiastical body politic of a charter, and then I hear the temple as a 501c3 U.S. citizens, it makes me ask myself, was the incorporation 501c3 religious only? And is that why a lot of the people that is under the 501c3 only keep it religious and just talking about the prophet and honoring the prophet like you're in church? Or was it meant as a national government structure for Moorish Americans, like when it's chartered as an ecclesiastical body politic, which makes you a free sovereign and a supreme law of the land? So when I hear that,
Absolutely.
And I hear charter, it makes me say, this is how it's supposed to be. But then when I hear 501c3, it makes me feel like we only come together to fellowship and praise like in church. So now I'm asking for the audience that's listening, Was Moorish Temple of America supposed to have been a structured government for the Moorish Americans? Islam.
Islam. If I may answer that,
Islam.
those Moorish Science temples that have those incorporated and under a 501c3, they are not self-studied. They have not studied themselves, and they've been living just as long as we have, and we know the difference right off. Because the 501c3 and when it was started, and why would they go through it? And then you have to go through the Internal Revenue Service, which is a private entity, and you have to go through the Internal Revenue Service in order to obtain a 501c3. Before I became a Moor and knew who I am, I had a 501c3 for Educational Explorers Program to teach our children, and I had mostly melanated children, to teach them hands-on experience so that they can get a grasp of what they wanted to be before they became that. Now, what the prophet came to, everything the prophet did, like the sister said, they replicated it, they copied it. Like the Moorish Science Temples of America are just like how they structuring these churches and have these churches on every corner next to a liquor store or something like that. They corrupted it. Everything that the prophet has done, they came to try to corrupt it. Everything the Moors have invented and created, they came to try to corrupt it. They colonized it and corrupted it. So therefore, that 501c3 and them having their Moorish Science Temple incorporated under a 501c3, either they are corrupt, black boule, the ones who are not supposed to be here, they have the dark spirit in them, or they're just not studied. Islam.
Islam. You can move to the next slide, please.
Islam, I love that. Listen, well, I'm going to the next slide, you all. As I'm listening to this, I'm so happy because only thing I can tell myself is I'll be 40. And it's like I'm that new Moor that's coming in with eyes wide open. And I can see a lot of the stuff that a lot of these scholars 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years has been doing. But it's just a church come together and fellowship. Nothing is being structured. But I'm coming in and I'm going over these same things, you all, that all of these scholars has been going over this whole time. And I'm seeing something totally different. Like, okay, I know, okay, you honor the prophet. I know we come together. I know that's the prophet. But what are you doing for the movement? What are you structuring? What are you creating? We're going to keep coming together, holding hands, singing, Jesus, thou shall overcome. Or are we going to get on the floor and create the law of the land that we was meant to do here? Islam.
And people ain't even doing what Jesus doing, because I got a Jesus thing for you. Jesus did the same thing Prophet Noble Ali did, but we're gonna do that. I'm gonna say that for the ending. I'm gonna say that for the ending. We'll deal with these three. So you can start with the title on the three pillars.
Okay. The 3 pillars of your charter.
All right. These 3 pillars are based on to show you what Noble Ali did was threefold. He did a threefold thing for you guys, for us, for all of us Moors. The federal, so just to look at the 3 pillars of our charter and the protection that it offers us, we're gonna look at the federal and the state. So the federal level on the IRS, how when you authorize a section of a 501c3, and then on the state level, Secretary of State, Noble Ali didn't do the the authority section, 501c3, that's for federal, and the focus for the federal is a tax exemption status of the public benefits, and it must include dissolution of non-insurement. That means it don't have no insurement clause. It must have that non-insurement clause, which you don't offer you anything. It's saying that if you want these kickbacks, you got to do such A, B, C, and D. And then we look at on the state level of the articles. And now we're looking at authority. The authority on the state level is the Secretary of State. And then the focus is legal existence and liability protection. And it must include registered agencies and corporate names. Now we look at it on the international level. So Noble Ali protect us on the federal level. That's what its charter did. It protects us on the federal level, on the state level, and we'll look at the international level. So the international level in the bylaws, it say authority, board of directors, focus, day-to-day rule and religious doctrines, must include voting rights and meeting procedures. So you have if you look at it under the bylaws, you have a right. Under here, everything is agent. Under state agent, under federal agent, you got to do what the agent say. Over here, everything is on a vote. We got to vote, meeting and procedures. Everybody plays a part. Ashe?
Islam.
We can move to the next slide. And that's that bylaws. Under those bylaws.
The dual structure of a religious organization.
That N came off of there, but that's an organization. Okay. The wind blew that N off. So the charter of the charter is articles of incorporation. So the bylaws and so the charter is article of incorporation, the charter that Noble Ali did, and that's equal to bylaws, operating rules. So what we're going to look at what the charter said and what he did, and how he fell in line with how the bylaws and everything Noble Ali did line up with the charter and how he's supposed to move with the charter. So the charter are articles of incorporation. It said the bylaws, operating rules. So the charter, the article of incorporation, and so that means you got to have some articles and rules, and how he did that through his bylaws, his Moorish American bylaws, Act 1, Act 2. So the charter said to have a charter, this is what it looked like. He's showing I do have a charter because I got bylaws. They got article of incorporation. My article of incorporation is my bylaws. We got the audience, the government, state of IRS. Okay, Noble Ali audience is the members and the leaders. See how he followed that? He followed that. You want audience, you got to have a audience in a charter. Okay, I have an audience. I have the members and the leaders. You want a purpose. Okay, you need a purpose in the charter to create a legal person. Okay, that's the purpose of a charter. So the purpose to define how to run the church. That's what the bylaws do. His bylaws said to create a legal purpose, and his is I got a purpose to find out how to run a church. They got a purpose to create a legal person. So you're creating a legal person to find out how to run a church. Your church is your legal person. That's what he created. Understand, the Moorish American Science Temple was your legal person in law. He protected you under that. That's a charter. It created something that you can use legal in law. And that church is something that you can use legal in law, but it's going to provide you with the law that state cannot tell church what to do. State has no law that it can make to pertaining to church. So his purpose was to find how to run a church. So legal status is public file documents, publicly filing documents. So to even create a legal person, he had to create this charter, because you want a legal person, you got to create a charter to get it. So he did that to define how to run a church. So legal status, public file documents, legal status, private internal document. So when you put stuff on the difference between the structure of a religious organization, this is the charter is the structure, and he has to follow it. So
Islam. Can I interject really quick?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying, because it's really important for me to say this, my apologies. So you're saying that he had to create the religious organization in order to create the government?
To create a legal person to go to make incomers. Yes, ma'am.
If I may I get clarity on that? Because we are spiritual beings in a fleshly body. Because we are all spiritual beings, and when we raise our consciousness, we're raising our higher spirit. And a charter is always given to a theocratic government. It's a formal document that grants authority, defines structure, and outlines functions for a governing system in which religious leadership and doctrine play the central role in political power.
That's
So
right.
when the prophet developed the charter for us as the Moors and as our ancestors ran the government, is to show you how to also operate government under such a divine way where you are structured and well structured. That's what the charter really outlines, and it's
Yes,
for
and that's what this is. Absolutely,
That's
sis.
right.
Yeah, and that's what this is doing. It's showing you the outline of what they asked for, and showing you that he lined it right up with what they asked for to
Islam.
operate as a legal charter, as a legal body politics, following the rules of the United States, because we're gonna learn that United States is more than one, and we got to be
Right.
able to tell the difference. Now we can go
Islam.
to the
I'm going
Islam.
to end you. I'm sorry. I just wanted to piggyback off the sister when she was saying that it was theocracy, and she right. And the meaning of theocracy, the etymology meaning of theocracy is rule of God. So that seals it right there.
Islam.
That's right, because when you create that church, that's God. That's your God you moving with. Now you're not moving as a person, you moving as a God. So not when when you create that religious organization, and when you in, because at first Noble Ali just started the religious organization, but when he went to Cuba, that's when he came back and it became a charter. So it wasn't no charter at first. It was just a religious organization, but it wasn't under 501c3 at all. It was just a religious organization. So the key point, the key components here is this: a legal name, registered agent, membership requirement. 501c3, the different is it promise statements, and it's voting, election, and procedures. And then we look at the dissolution and cause, is that where money goes, officer duties, pastor's treasury, and etc. Not money, it's treasury. Then we look at limitation of personality, of personal liability. Then we look over here at the prophet. He got meeting and schedules and quorums. That means those are your personal responsibility. You got to have these meetings. You got to schedule. You got to have quorum. So he fitted. So what we cannot say is that what he created is not lined up with a charter. That's the whole point of this actually slide. So you can move to the next one.
Islam, and if I may, while you're moving, you mentioned when the prophet was in Havana, Cuba, is when he was granted the appellation, the spiritual name El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, for his special ability with his brilliant mind, and it was given to him by Sultan Abdul Aziz Abu, and he was able to receive the commission degree, because he received the highest degree and showed special ability to outshine all of those who were at that meeting. And he was very well welcomed and in high regard of his knowledge. So that's when he was given that name, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, Islam.
Islam. So we'll just look, our biggest thing is to get off of this 501c3 thing. We got to get our people here from around this 501c3 thing, so we can be come together as a nation and start moving forward with what the prophet brought us. So you will see each slide, some of it going to be saying the same thing, because it's so important that we understand what the prophet brought us. It didn't change. It don't go away. It's going to always be the same and stay the same. So that's why everything here is the same, because he made a lot of moves and he made it for the same reason. So here we see the side-by-side state charter versus federal 501c3 again. And we went over the features that say these are the things. That we got the charter, the state law, and we have that's federal law. Our charter is state law, 501c is a federal law. The primary law states nonprofit corporate acts, and it's an Internal Revenue Code, section 501c3. So if we look at it, the charter is a state act, 501c3 is a federal act. And the government body, Secretary of State. Who governs the 501c3 charter? The Secretary of State, the government all business. But and if we know it's the federal government where we getting all our that's really on our backs, because the federal government is the one who's running these states now. That's what we have to get out of there, because they setting the laws and setting the rules for the states. So when we look at it, the Secretary of State is where the charter go. For government, our government body will be the government body for a charter, not for Noble Drew Ali, because it's a different. He started a charter, but it's something else he did that make his charter just so unique than anybody else. So I'm reading to you right now, just regular things with a charter, and not after he come back from Cuba, how it changed this charter into something special for us. So now we're gonna so core documents. Article of incorporation, and this is all the things that going on the religious charter. So article of incorporation, the charter, that's the charter. The article, everybody say, well, the charter, well, that's the charter. The article of incorporation is the charter. So now we say the main goal, legal identity, to create a bearer so leaders aren't personally sued for church debts. You hear that? The charter creates a bearer so leaders aren't personally sued for church debt. So regular required language, register agent's name and address, duration permanent as long as annual reports are filed. It's permanent. The duration is permanent. As long as you file yearly reports. As long as you put those yearly reports in, your charter stands through the millennium. So I can't see the bottom. If you could read that for me, Sarah.
Yes.
The part.
Which one?
All the church to own land.
Oh, ma'am, I can't see that. Oh, I got you. Hold on one second. Let's see.
Yeah, I have to.
All right, there we go. It says ownership. The religious charter state law allows the church to own land and bank accounts in its own name. And then the 501c3 status, which is the federal law, governs how money is spent. Must be for charitable or religious use.
Right. So when you're on the 501c3, you're going to be under that code with the IRS, and it's the IRS determined letters and IRS approval. The charter was the approval for us for incorporation, and the 501c3 is you have to have a letter of approval from the IRS. Your tax benefits, you do get benefits over there at the 501c3, but it's exempt and group from income tax and allow free tax-free donation. So and then but it don't create any kind of barrier for leaders or any members to be responsible for debt. See, it's not no protection under debt. And what Prophet Noble Drew ID did, he protected us under debt. See, a church protect under debt. And that's why he put that charter in there. A charter in not a church, but when he sued for it, it's a church and a charter. So I might have to go and tell you the secret, because it sounds kind of weird with me not leaving it out. He created all three. He created a church, he created a charter, and he created nationality. He created all three, because you're gonna need all three. Because the church was just for us to go in and fellowship with and learn how to be good citizens and more family members. That was what the church was for. Our nationality was for international. That card was for you to have an international connection. And your church was to protect you. Your church and your charter is to protect you under maritime and commerce law. So he did a 3-4 thing. He did all three. But once he went to once he registered it in Chicago under that affidavit, that's when it turned into that body politics under the charter.
May I add in what you're saying? What she's saying, you all, when she say it was all three, it was the common law religious. Like when Empress Wisdom Shield started and said we religiously call somebody or we religiously do something, it was a common law religion that we religiously come together to fellowship. But, and I'm just you know, just picking there. But when he came back to from Cuba, it seems like he found out something and realized something. And it's a saying that Martin Luther King say, "I'm afraid I'm leading my people into a burning building." And Noble Drew Ali didn't want to do that for us. So it seems he came back and created that charter so we can have the supreme law of the land. But in that charter, it seems like he realized that when creating that charter, it's to have our protection with the religious, but the secret is while you're fellowshipping, you're creating your government. You're creating your ecclesiastical body politic. You're creating your 3 branches of government: legislation, executive, and judicial branch. Islam.
And if I may, as the sister was saying that the prophet created churches, those churches were the Moorish Saints Temples of America.
Yeah, when I say churches,
those are that's what it is. They start calling them churches, but they're the Moorish Saints Temples of America, and only the Moorish Saints Temples are able to grant charters from state to state. The state and the Moorish Saints Temple are intertwined. You can't have a state without a Moorish Saints Temple in that state. You cannot have. There has to be present. And if I may read some, because a lot of what you're saying is in the charter that was given me, if I can read it, if you don't mind.
Islam, go ahead.
Islam. But you can move to the next slide too as she reading, sis.
Okay. But while she's reading that, you all, I want you all to understand that Empress Wisdom Shield Ill is what she's reading. She was once, not still once. She was a Grand Sheik. So she's not coming from a theory. She's coming from facts. Islam, I pass it to you.
Islam, it says the World Home Office, by virtue of the authority vested in the Most High Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and by virtue of a charter granted by the state of the Moorish Saints Temple of America, by the Most Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, unto the Moorish Saints Temple of America, doeth hereby grant this charter, warrant, and dispensation to this branch of the Moorish Saints Temple of America, located in Cook County, Illinois, which is Mecca, where the prophet recorded the trust and where Mecca is, styled by the known temple number 1. Hear ye, the said subordinate temple is authorized and empowered to initiate into and confer degrees of said temple upon any person or persons duly proposed, qualified, and approved in accordance with the established forms, usages of the laws and edicts of the Moorish Saints Temple of America, and to administer to all true members all the privileges and benefits arising therefrom, and to enact bylaws for the government of this temple, provided always that the said temple number and the members thereof do act according to the order and in conjunctions with and obedience to the World Home Temple Authority, and to support all of the articles and charges delivered with this charter and the commands and edicts of the illustrious Noble Drew Ali, the prophet. In default thereof, this charter may be suspended or revoked at the decision of the World Home Temple. If that means if the temple is not putting the prophet out front and operating in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, those are the determinations for ending the charter and the temple. And further, this temple shall promote and practice the teaching of faith of all true divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc., and especially learning the works of the great prophet Noble Drew Ali in North America, in witness whereof we have displayed the authority of our temple in the subscribe our titles and affixed the seals of the Moorish Saints Temple of America and the Moorish Consulate Post. Ali, all hail to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam,
sister. Islam. So we see it is common misconcept that all religious groups are just churches. Legally, they are distinct. And church is a house of worship, and they are automatically exempted from filing these forms 102, 1023, though many still do to get a form of domination letter. I was speaking of that letter you got to get to even get anything. And one thing about the 501c3, it don't help. It's a charity thing, but it don't protect nobody. It don't have no kind of a diplomat standing. It don't have no kind of political standing in law. And we see what Noble Drew Ali did. We're going to see before this PowerPoint over is he had a lot of political standing in law. And so to make a charter, official laws for your organization, you generally follow this path that Noble Drew Ali left in the charter. You adopt the bylaws in the meeting with your initial board members and formally approve the documents you upload. So
point of interest. I just want to back that up when you said that the churches have no law, and where the prophet does. I can give an example of that because I know everybody remember 2020, right? When COVID came out and all these people had to get the shots. All these people were taking the shots, and they were not accepting the churches. Some people were saying religious reasons why they couldn't take the shots, and then they would mention their church. The church was a 501c3. They have to take the shots. You had some ministers telling their congregations to get the shots because that was their job, to make sure you get the shots. But guess what? When I told people to say that they were a Moorish American and it was against your nationality and against your creed to take the shot, they did not get questioned. It was approved. Approved.
Islam says same with me. I did the religious exemption and put the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in and the Holy Quran and the scriptures about our temple, and everyone that I did, they did not have to take that shot.
Nope, they did not. But put a church on there. You crazy? Like, no, you work. They work for us, honey.
Yeah, that's right.
You have no protection.
You can move past this this template because it's a double. All right. Yes.
Islam.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show everyone these dates again that the prophet created. So now we're gonna look at a side by side of Noble Drew Ali charter versus modern. You can go past that. Okay, I want to go here because these things we want to line up to. So 1928, the Moorish Charter, our authority, gave us our authority. That's what gave us our authority in 1928. It gave us authority. And
you can put next to the 501c3, 1954.
In 1954, the 501c3, Noble Drew Ali ain't had nothing to do with that. And what he did in Illinois, what gave us our authority, our legal source was Illinois Register Religious Corporation Act of 1872. You can look that act up. And I had these to be hyperlinked, but once I put them in PowerPoint, the hyperlink wouldn't come up because we was going to hyperlink to each document, but we are not able to do that because the hyperlink failed to show up during the PowerPoint. So the filing date that he filed this document in Illinois, when he registered this document, it was in July the 20th of 1928. He filed it on August the 1st, 1928. The legal form was an ecclesiastical body politic, and presiding officer was Noble Drew Ali. His authority was the great Quran of Muhammad to proclaim, and the primary goal was nationality and a divine creed. This is what he have on the charter, and a structure, the grand body and appointed chiefs. And so we can move on past that because we ain't worried about the 501c3. I was just showing the comparison to what Noble Drew Ali did and what a 501c3 did. And you see it's totally different. So we're going to talk side by side of authority versus modern law. So the real religious goal that Noble Drew Ali had was a legal charter results. To proclaim nationality, to create a body politics, a government-like entity. And this is summing it all up, and we said it over and over, but this is the core reason he did it: to teach the divine creed, protect the First Amendment, the freedom of religion, to manage temples property, allowing the temples to own land without being taxed, and to protect the prophet, to create a corporate veil, the prophet versus the corporation. So to sum all that up, then you can move to the next slide. My slides kind of repeating one another because so much information that was based on the same thing that was so important, especially when it comes to us understanding how to operate inside of temples and how we are to create these charters and how we are to follow the bylaws and the divine law that is set down by the Prophet Noble Ali. And we need to pay attention. So, because this is so important. You can move to the next slide, sis. It's okay. All right. You can move. Go back to the one we was just at. Yeah, you can move from this. Yeah, you can stay here. Okay. The side by side of the Prophet Charter versus U.S. corporate law. So we want to look at that. Because one thing we're doing is finding what the Prophet Noble Ali did in his charter, and how did it protect it? How did the charter protect us? What did it have to offer to us? So we're comparing. Right now, we're comparing the charter, which is ecclesiastical administration, versus the corporation and its law. That's what you see in here now. So the features, who we're comparing with Noble Ali in this charter with standing corporate and incorporation. So if we look, we see the legal base. We see here was the herd value. Please go to the one what you see in the blue, because it's gonna validate everything we're doing, the corporate law, and you will find it. You will find it here.
Please go to what she's saying, you all. I'm sorry.
That is chapter 3, section 2, and section 36. That's where you will find the charter for Noble Ali and its authority. You will see it there. I had it to be hyperlinked, like I said, but once we put it in the PowerPoint, hyperlink did not work. So the identity is an ecclesiastical body. You will see that there. Claiming power from the great Quran. And the leadership is the Sheikhs, and the members are the national and the Moorish American. And the file type is an affidavit of organization. Now that when you file an affidavit of organization, that's where his power came from to do what he was doing, to turn that into a state. Now, the standing corporate incorporation is a general business nonprofit act. It's a legal artificial person. It claims power from a state legislators, and is a director of trustees elected appointed based on subscribers or donors. When you go and vote, and the subscribers and donors is always looking for somebody, and we are their donors right now. But it's not, once we get what Prophet brought us, we're gonna leave from that donor status. We're gonna leave from the it always make me think about in the Circle 7 when the Prophet said he's talk about the servant and the master. When you come over here to the charter, you're getting back into your master status. If you go over here standing in corporate and in corporations, over here, you're gonna be a servant. So the article of incorporation. Islam. You can move to the next slide.
Okay. I really like this slide. I love this slide. And again, I want to come behind her and really say, you all go ahead and pull up in this blue, HERS Revised Statutes, chapter 3, 32, section 36. Please go and read that, because it helps out a whole lot. I really like this because it makes me feel so good about MAAT, you all, because MAAT did this same way, and I'm just happy. I forgot I was on a podcast. I thought it was Sunday and we was in class right now, you all.
I have point of interest. That is on the back of the 101s as well.
Islam, absolutely. It's on the back of the 101.
Islam. I was saying I have that already, the Hertz by statute.
Yep, I have it on the back of the 101s. It's our authority.
Now, this is the law the prophet used according to the law, the 501c3 rules. Let's see the difference. Okay. The features for the prophet was Noble Jew Ali, 1928, his authority. And they get there to the 501(3) as a status. Authority and status is different now. One is authority. That means this is my authority. I don't have to, it ain't my status, it's my authority. It ain't nothing somebody gave me. Status is something somebody have to give you. Your authority is something you born with, and you enforce it, and you do it. And you don't go in there begging for nothing. Yeah, over here in the 501c3, that's a beggar thing. Prophet said we not a beggar nation. We over there begging, looking for kickbacks. That's a beggar nation. We have authority. And so we're going to enforce our authority through the ecclesiastical body politics. This is our legal way that we enforce our authority through our legal body politics. So the source of power is your great Quran of Muhammad. Why? Why is that your authority? Well, keep looking, keep watching, and you're going to learn that. So we got the national status. It says established as free national government. That's what that's what the ecclesiastical. Once you become ecclesiastical body politic, you write laws, you create laws. So the Prophet Noble Jew Ali knew exactly what he was doing when he made ecclesiastical body politics. He knew that now we have to write laws and make laws, because if we don't, guess what? We're gonna become. They're gonna stay in that masters, and we're gonna stay as servants. And when we have the authority and we acting like servants, and they have just status that we give them, and they acting like masters. And so we got to hold ourselves accountable for these things. And it's not, we can't blame the man no more. We have to start. Now, when you learn this, you can't blame the man no more. So your national status is establish a free national government.
Islam.
Your accountability come with that. It's accountable to the grand body of the temple. To your goal is to redeem a people. Anybody see the rest? But it's to redeem people from their sinful ways and from debt.
Islam. That's what it is.
Just to redeem a people from your sinful ways. This is why he did this, and he had the authority to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to be a servant on the you want to move as a servant, you'll stay with and it's to the temples that's moving this way. And I actually did not create this PowerPoint to just have a side. I wanted to come, but when you get the truth, and it's so and it's just so real, you can't even go no other way.
That's right.
You can't even move no other way. You just got to move straight ahead. It ain't you ain't thinking. It's not a conspiracy anymore. I started off in conspiracy, but establishing. So when you going with that 503c3, we letting everybody know who's in the temples that under these 503c3 and temples. This is not nothing against you. This is just to get it right, so we can move right and we can restore our nation back to the way post-millennium, where it was before the colonizers got here. So it's not to point fingers at no one. It's just to bring the law and let everyone see it for themselves, so you can understand what you're doing if you're making these mistakes, if you're starting your temples under these 501c3s. That's not what the prophet did.
And if I made it doing the original people doing something that's not original.
Absolutely. It creates something that's not original. So we're going to establish so when you're under that 503c3 temples, the Internal Revenue Code, you're under their statutes and codes, you establish a tax exemption entity, and over here you establish the national government. And over on the tax exemptions, on the 501c3 side, you're accountable to the IRS. Over here, you're accountable to your grand body of temples. And then over here on the IRS side, it say your goal is to provide tax receipts. And if you get a tax receipt, that means somebody is being a debtor. You're making a debtor. And who is the debtor?
Peace.
So that's what Islam, and that's what Noble Ali understood.
That's
how
right.
that Islam.
Right. Point of interest. I just want to say, because we're not even supposed to be paying taxes. With my temple that I was belonging to, the Grand Sheikh, he knew how to keep you from paying income taxes from your job. So yeah, you're not even supposed to be paying no taxes.
And that's because you're under your own ecclesiastical body politics.
That's right.
And we'll get to see that United States is just it's doing this. The United States did the same thing that the Prophet Noble Jew Ali did. Created a temple. I mean, created a state, a nation state, and that nation state consists of the 13 colonies and the European powers. So they did the same thing.
Yes,
I noticed that I noticed that the template left.
She probably got to come back.
Yeah, Noble Jew Ali did the same thing. He did the exact same thing that they had.
No, they did the exact same thing. They copied him.
I mean, they did the exact same thing that Noble Jew Ali had done.
Yep, he was the first.
Give me 1 second. I think that might be the Sierra Raha because I think her camera went off and somebody ringing my phone. So 1 second.
Sister saying you ain't but a couple hours. I mean, but an hour away from me.
Hello.
Oh, it's fine. That's what you was telling me. I was waiting for you to
call me back. We still on, but you gone.
Oh yeah, just keep going. My power went out. Just keep
okay.
going.
All right.
But you might just have to keep going without the presentation though.
Okay. Her power went out. So she just asked me to keep going without the presentation. So I do have it in front of me. So I'll just go over the talking points that I have in front of me. So her, right, okay. So her power went out.
And your picture went still, sis.
Oh man.
Yeah, but we can hear you. We can still hear you.
That's the most important part.
Yeah.
That's the most important part. You can.
Boy, it must be really windy, huh?
Yeah, it's really windy here in Michigan.
And then here in Ohio as well.
No, don't come this way. It ain't windy over here.
All right. So we might have to we might have to reschedule and do this over because we just might have to do that. But we still gonna complete this today, but we will come back and bring forth the PowerPoint so the people can see can put their eyes on it. That makes it different when you can put your eyes on things. So give me 1 second.
Let me be honest with you, sis. Most of the Moors know that the Prophet didn't bring a 501c3.
Yeah.
The ones that are doing it because that's what they want to do.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. As many Moors been out here talking about the Prophet didn't come up under 501c3.
Exactly. They just corrupt. They just
I think you just preaching to the choir because most Moors I talk to, they already know that. They'll look at you like you crazy.
That's
right. We have this is
they be ready to get in your behind, honey. Yeah, they don't play that.
Well, they the ones that are dealing with it, it's fine that they already know, but what they don't know is how they really lose their sovereignty under the prophet, under the temple when they do that. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just think they doing what they are paid to do. Like I said, it's been
they compromised. They are compromised.
And there's people that's why it takes so long for some of us Moors to even get to where we are, because the prophet said it. He said they're gonna bury me so deep, you won't even know I was here.
Yeah. So what the prophet brought us: a free national government, a sovereign society of people, the supreme law of the land. He brought us the supreme with a mandate. He brought us the supreme law of the land, a lawful beneficiary, and made us lawful beneficiaries and inherits. So his 1928 affidavit of organization registered as a body. He registered it in the state of Illinois as a body politics. So when he did that, when he registered as a body politics and he turned around and registered in the term system, what he did was made us link to the ancestors' land.
if I may, sis, as you had mentioned the supreme law of the land,
Mm-hmm.
the prophet did come and bring us everything. And sometimes we miss some things that the prophet came to bring us. Do you know when he was in Havana, Cuba, during the conference, Noble Drew Ali was given the North America mandate for the land, which the United States had been occupying illegally since 1871. But check this out. This mandate that was given to the prophet is now in Geneva, Switzerland, awaiting its proclamatory status of the Moorish nation. They always say, well, they're waiting on the Moors. We're waiting on the Moors to wake up. But we can go and get that a proclamation and get that mandate for the land that they stole from us and quickly decolonize the land with that mandate.
Yes.
And that's what I'm waiting. That's what me and
Now-
Moore found out how
Right.
we could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And two, sister, too, even though some of the temples did know they was doing 501c3, but the members don't know. See, the members don't understand this part. So this is for the members as well. It ain't just for the leaders of the temple, it's for the members, because once the members, they understand that you're moving out of order, it gives them a free opportunity to make a decision for themselves if this is the way they want to move outside of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought. Now, to the 1928 Havana Cuba conference, that put us on a global stage. The act of him going to Cuba, you know, that was more a legal important act, because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali reported receiving a mandate, like she said, from the Pan American nation. And it's different from the United Nations. We have a Pan American nations that's for all the with American countries, American states coming together under one umbrella. And we think the United Nations, that was actually created for maritime law. And then we have the OAS that was created for that's our federation of our political federal government. I mean, political federal states is under the OAS. So that's the Organization of American States. So we're sleeping on the OAS. And I did in the PowerPoint, we have like to show you the difference between the United States of America and the United States, because it's what they do. They create all these interchangeable words and things, like United States is so interchangeable. We hardly can tell the difference. But the reason when the prophet went to Pan America, the nation recognized the Moors' claim to the Americas, not the Americans, but the Americas, because when you put the N on there, not with the S, then you know the United States, they patent that. The American is patent to the United States. So you see how they put an N on it. And right. So but one thing that the prophet did to make the distinction was he called us a Mexican. He called it a Mexican. He put a, when you look at some of his documents, you will see he said America / a Mexican. So he used the conference to signal that the 1786 Treaty of Peace and Friendship was still activated, and that the Moors was the third party beneficiary to that treaty. That's what he did there. And so the status of aliens, so the conference adopted the convention on the status of aliens. So the prophet wanted the Moors to be classified as nationals protected by the treaties rather than minorities and subjects to a local law. So that's what when he went to Cuba, that's what he did. He got reckoned. He went to Cuba and he took all the credentials to show that he was from the land, that his people was from the land, and he went to the Sultan Muhammad. We asked, well, why he always had the Sultan Muhammad on everything? Because the Sultan Muhammad is who recognized Noble Drew Ali, the Sultan of deeds. That's where he got his authority from. He was already, if you sign up with a temple, you already recognized as a body politic, as a nation state.
Right.
So he did this triple authority to lock us in. The spiritual lock was the Holy Quran of Circle 7 and the connection to the Sultan, because that Sultan connected us in the Circle 7, adopting the Muhammadan laws. That's how, because what he was able to show the Sultan is that we was the descendant of the ancient Moabite roof. He was able to go to trace that lineage down. And the Sultan was able to see that he had documented evidence. And when he went to Cuba, he took C. Kirkland Bay with him, because C. Kirkland Bay was real fluent in like
Spanish,
in different languages. So the state
he spoke Spanish.
Yeah, with different Spanish. He spoke all different kind of language.
But he spoke Spanish. That's why he took him with him, because they was in Cuba.
Right.
And then that's the very one who betrayed him.
Right. And so the spiritual lock was the Holy Quran, the Circle 7. And that gave us our connection, the connection to the Sultan. Then we had the state lock, which was the 1928 affidavit of an organization, the charter, filed in Illinois. And then the international lock was the 1786 treaty and the recognition at these are the things that he accomplished in the 1928 Pan American Conference. So the legal duty of each member, the prophet was looking, for when he came back, he knew what he had, he knew what he did. So that's why the prophet said your nationality card is going to change in your pocket, because when he left and went to Cuba, it was just a religious organization. But when he came back from Cuba, that's when he incorporated that religious. He learned something when he went to Cuba. He learned that if I go incorporate this, and they gave him the mandate to Americas, because the land. Everybody else was asleep. It was like, how Prophet Noble Ali gonna be the one get the mandate? How he do that? How that happened?
Right.
A lot of people say,
first thing,
so important.
Point of interest. One thing they got to recognize too is he come from royalty. He was the royal prince. And they have that in old papers. I've seen the old articles in the papers where they called him the royal prince.
Guess what? And he gained that title when the Sultan, when he went there, and the Sultan recognized him as the Sultan and the royal prince and the general of the Americas land. And that's why ever since, that's where he drew that authority from, and that's how he got that title. He was recognized by the Sultan, because the Sultan realized that, and he took all the necessary documents to prove his his lineage. Yep.
And the Sultan came to see him, but it was too late. He had passed. The Sultan had came to see him right after he had passed.
Now, what we want to say is that we can clearly say now that I understand what Noble Ali did and how he did and what he did it for, that he was actually murdered. Because when he set up this ecclesiastical body politics inside of the temples, that he did that in 1928, he was dead in 1929.
If I may, sis, the prophet didn't die. He passed form. He defeated death.
Absolutely.
I always say that.
Absolutely. No, listen, that's the highest. That's the highest degree passed. Right. That's the degree that.
Right.
The prophet wants us to attain is to just go into a deific form of body, but that they could not kill him. They could not kill the prophet.
Absolutely, you're right.
He transformed and he defeated death.
He left when he wanted to leave.
You talk about Jesus defeating death? No, the prophet defeated death. He defeated death. No death with the prophet. He transformed. He ascended back to the Allah. He ascended back at his will, not at their will, at his will.
Yep. Point of interest. I agree with that. And people that always bothers me when people say they killed him. They killed him. No, they didn't, because when they beat him in that jail, all he did is left his body. He left his body. And then when they finished beating him, he came back into his body and he stood up and scared the crap out of them.
Islam.
There's no way he could be alive.
That's right.
Him down like that.
And since he
went to the temple.
That's right.
He went to the temple, laid his head in the lap of a sister.
Islam.
And
He
he
volunteered
practiced
to go
law.
into that Desmond crib. He called it the Desmond crib. He volunteered because he said he wanted to experience everything that we had to, we're experiencing now. The prophet had to experience everything that we're experiencing now. That's why he volunteered. He allowed them to do it. They couldn't do anything against his will. That's the prophet.
Mm-hmm. The noble Drew Ali, he taught us that we was more in America. We're the descendant of the ancient Moroccan empires. That's what he was telling when he went to Cuba. That these are the things that he supported, and he said that for his legal argument to work, he needed the handshake from the source. And the mandate, according to the Moorish tradition, and Noble Drew Ali received a divine mandate from the Sultan of Morocco, returning the nationality and the birthright to the Moors of the West.
Islam.
And why this matter? Why this matter? You know, why this matter? Because in international law, you cannot just declare yourself a nation. You must be recognized by another sovereign. By connecting to the Sultan, the prophet was claiming lineage of sovereignty that exists long before the United States was even a country.
Yeah.
So who can deny that?
That's why they say we grandfathered in.
That's right. That's
right. Because we was established before all these laws came out.
And so that action that he did in Cuba, that was one of the most important things that helped us, and that he could have ever did for the Moors, because that mandate recognized the prophet reported receiving that mandate. That mandate helped us tie us back to the treaties. When he shook the hands of the Sultan, that tied us back to the Treaty of 1786, all the Moroccan treaties. We are tied into them.
That's right. Even in the beginning of our Holy Quran, with the K, the Holy Quran with the K, it says that. Matter of fact, if I get it, it mentions the treaties. He mentions the treaties in the introduction of the Holy Quran, letting you know that we're tied in.
And we're tied in. That's the state trust.
Yep. And then at the end of the Holy Quran, he lists how what lands that that belong to us and where we're from. Lists all the lands. So it's all documented. And all this stuff you can find in the Library of Congress. This is in the Library of Congress. The Holy Quran, our Constitution is all in the Library of Congress.
So one thing that we could say from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali going to Cuba and doing what he did, he was letting us know that he essentially saying that we are not just a local church in Chicago. We are a national body with ties to the Sultan to protection under the international treaties. So this gave his 1928 charters its teeth. It really gave him what he needed. It wasn't just a paper file. It made it not just a paper file in Cook County. It was a document backed by history of Morocco and the laws of nations.
And you see why they had to bury him.
That's right.
They bury all his work and everything.
Now understand, if the world would have knew what the prophet done,
they're gonna find out.
Do you understand? We would. He what he did was birth the nation.
Yep.
Everything the prophet did, he birthed the nation. And
that's why that book came out, Resurrection of a Nation.
Absolutely.
By forgot the brother's name.
So he did. We have to understand that he gave us a spiritual lock. Back to that lock. He did a threefold lock. He gave us a spiritual lock from the Holy Quran, because the Sultan backed that up, because of his connection to the Sultan. And he gave us that state lock. Keep state out of our business with statutes and codes. And really in pulling us into that sea of commerce, he created that 1928 affidavit of organization, the charter, which put him, when he filed it with Illinois, and he put that mandate with it that gave us that ecclesiastical government, and that international lock that he did. He had to go over there and shake hands with that's why he tell us to go back and when he said we have to be, I forgot how the exact word he said, bringing us back under the affairs of men. That's what he did. He went back and that's the affairs of men. our Pan American. Everybody, we all hear about Pan Africa. Why we never hear about Pan America?
Islam.
They buried it. They buried all that.
Why we don't never hear about Pan America? Because Pan America operates just like the United Nations. They are our United Nation on this landmass. And one thing about the United Nations, it operates in common maritime. If you go there, as I have done, and study their website, everything is done on the NGO and on the NGOs, non-government organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and you know who started the monetary fund? So it's commerce over there.
Ran by the Rockefeller.
Place over there for a free national standing nation of people. Because that's over there is people doing commerce with nations. Now we need a seat over there because we're going to be able, once we control our resources, we got to be able to have international communication to buy, sell, and trade.
I don't know if we'll have a seat over there because that's about to be dismantled.
Well, I'm just saying, in other, a seat where we can be amongst all the nations. And I'm telling you, it will be dismantled, and we will see if you go look at the Pan American and you go to the website OAS, that is our republic form of government right there. It's a republic. It's not ran by European colonizers. So I encourage everyone that's listening and that will hear this to go and look at that website and learn that you will see there is another constitution there for the United States, and it don't involve all the things, the 14th Amendment citizen. So, and it's not signed by George Washington and all the European power as well. It's signed by North Carolina, South Carolina, all these in this region, the states in this regency that is not supporting the European colonizers.
Could you give that website, sis?
The website is OAS.com. It's Organization of American States.
Islam.
And since we ain't have the PowerPoint to show you all the stuff, I'm just going over it, and maybe we can come back on next Friday and bring the PowerPoint, because there's a lot of information that was there. I wanted people to see, because I wanted people to see the difference between the United States of America and the United States. And I wanted people to see the Constitution for the Pan Americans, which is which is this landmass and all the adjoining islands, along with Haiti and along with I think it's I'm not sure. I think it's Panama. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. But there's a lot of countries on there, so we got to get familiar with and get ourselves familiar with. So, and I'm just bringing you the information that I have for. You don't have to believe it, or you don't have to apply yourself to it. Just it's up to you. So do your own research so that you will see what the prophet brought. And Noble Jew Ali, he also taught. We got to know that this was not a religious field trip that he took. It was a diplomat mission. He was on a diplomat mission to reestablish the Moors as recognized as nation under international law. So when the Prophet Noble Jew Ali said we're a nation inside a nation, that's what I was going to be able to show you why he say that. And I can tell it to you, verbatim, but when you see it, it'll create a different, it'll help you follow, because it was so confusing to me that I didn't sleep for a day until I figured out who is all these United States of America, who is the state, who is the United States. How can you tell the difference? Because they so interchangeable.
Yeah.
Yes. So Noble Jew Ali taught the Moors in America. He taught us that we are Moorish Americans, and his mandate is the Moorish tradition.
The colonizers came and did a real job on our mental state.
Oh,
and it's a blessing that those of us who came out of that stupor thinking are where we are today. And if you can prove that the prophet is the prophet and really a prophet, I mean one of the last prophets, you need to look at what's going on today and study the prophecies and hadiths of the prophet, of the noble prophet.
Right.
And all of his prophecies are coming true right now because they're dropping bombs, just like he said. And
Yep.
do you know that they cannot come, anything that's happening in this world now cannot even come close to us because we're still being divinely protected?
Yes.
Absolutely, sis.
It's only the ones who calling themselves blacks and African Americans and just taking themselves inside the fights and the whatever, when they go out there rallying against the ICE, and they don't know the ICE agents are out there to help us because they have concentration camps set up to put away all of these people that's not supposed to be on our land. They don't even know what's going on. We are in perfect peace right now. This is the best time of our lives to be alive because the prophet, his prophecies are fulfilling. And through the matriarchs, through the women, because the prophet especially loved the matriarchs, the women. And so now all of the patriarchs who are still sleeping under the spell and fighting their women and dogging out their women during this era of time now, it's gonna come back on them so hard their heads gonna spin because they should not violate the matriarchs. We are the mothers. So all of the things that they've been doing against the women and against the matriarchs, I'm so happy that I have 5 daughters. I mean, I was told so many years that by the Chinese people was telling me, you have 5 girls, you're blessed, you blessed. Now I know why. The melanated woman is the most powerful on the planet. And if they tap into that spirit, tap into that power and that authority, they'll see some magnificent things.
It's Islam, sister. Ashe. And you know what? And one reason why the prophet was so had such a light heart for the mothers is because he understood the doll's role. He understood the doll's role. And what he understood was that land and property was to the mother held the aboriginal titles to land and property, and that the land and property that they are holding in the doll's roll, which we call the $5 Indian roll, they don't own that. United States don't own the property.
That's right.
And when they got the mother, which was the indigenous mother, our 5 indigenous nations, and not all of them in all the nations did, but a lot of the aboriginal indigenous people of the land actually along with the Louisiana Purchase and things like that, they gained access to trusteeship, I would say, to for a lack of words, that they was more like in a trusteeship capacity at the Dawes Roll. And what that gave them after the mothers started putting the land there, they gave them authority to now they could print up paper debt. And that's why the United States, even to this day, get to print up their paper to have paper terrorist wars on the Moors. They get to create stuff like securities and bonds because they hold the assets there in the Dawes Roll. They just hold the paperwork. And now that they hold the paperwork, they get to create paperwork. They can never own the land, and they can never sell the land, but they can always create these securities and bonds and sell them and auction off them, and that's where their big debt came from. When you look at the 60K trust, though, that trust is sort of like the Dawes Roll. You are voluntarily putting your assets in there, and now that you voluntarily put your assets in there and put us as trustees, now all we have to do is print up some kind of papers to get the heir's signature, and now we can move securities and bonds, because that's why they create so much paper stuff. We got to sign our name for it.
Right.
Everything you do with them, you got to. They only do this on paper,
putting you in a contract.
Yeah, they can only create paper and sell paper. They cannot sell really assets. That's why their debt is so big, because they don't have any assets to give away or sell. They can only create these paper debt notes. And when they create the debt, that's the sin that even Jesus talked about. And so when they created that paper, now they can create paper.
Now they got the Dolls Road, which is the Dolls Road was called the paper doll. If you look up the Dolls Road, they sometimes call it, some sites I went on when I was doing my research, they say the paper doll. And why the paper doll? Because they are creating paper from her. She's the doll, she's the matriarch, they call her doll. And they creating all this paper debt around her around her assets that they have registered in the Dolls Road. And this is one thing that Noble Drew Ali. Now imagine if Noble Drew Ali hadn't done what he done to protect the doll. Now they can't. When he did the mandate and he registered at the county, it's a and I had that to show as well. It's a law, a federal law. Anything that was done before 1989, you cannot go back in and change it to nothing. Mm-hmm. It has to stay.
Yep.
So he was in for him to create a irrevocable trust. He understood that they could never go in there. I don't care if it was C. Kirkman Bay, who I don't want to call no names, but and be,
because they can't change nothing. Yeah,
they can't change anything. So it's gonna be there in time immemorial. And guess what? We might find a lot of people saying, "Can we do what Noble Drew Ali did? Who can do this?" But guess what? You can do it, and you can start your charter, but you cannot be recognized. It'll take a lot without the prophet up front. That's why the prophet said, you have to put me out front, and they will give you a favor. You go to those who know law, because we keep running to the colonizer United States and quoting the Constitution for the United States of America, and not quoting the United States Constitution for the adjoining union of the states in the union. We're quoting their Constitution in their courts. And when you go on that OAS website and you see you have a Republic Constitution and it ain't talking about no slave talk and 14th Amendment talk on there, you're going to be very excited. Mm-hmm. And they also have a Declaration of a Declaration of Independence that they call it the affairs of. There's it have men's in there. So I'm like, if Prophet Noble Drew Ali went to Pan America and he went through these OAS and he did, and which he did, because they are the council for the Americas, and we ain't never been there, and we never heard of it. I've never heard of that organization at all. And that's something they really kept out of our arena. I've never heard of it. Yeah. And it's really our adjoining states that's signing this Constitution for the United States. It's right here in our union. It's new. It's got these charter state names on it. I ain't saying they charter state. I don't know. These people here, the people like from North Carolina, South Carolina. And we also know about the sun-dried Moors. They've been establishing themselves. Mm-hmm. So it has all these union states on there. Detroit is not on there. Michigan ain't on there. So we got work to do. This is just, and now I get where the prophet said the half is yet to come. We got work to do. Mm-hmm. How many grand sheets is writing law, enforcing laws, creating laws?
I don't know many.
Creating laws, international law. According to international law, to protect your
when I asked one of the sheiks of a grant, of the temple, he told me they hadn't got that far yet, and I'm like, got that far yet? Y'all been for a decade or more.
One thing about the temples that don't have it, they're gonna have to establish a body politics, or they just playing church.
Islam.
And I don't mean charge. I'm like Jennifer, don't charge my heart for this, but I have to speak truth.
Right.
I'm not trying to put anyone down, because it's time. Play is over with. The prophet is a prince. He's a sultan, and he have left us things that cannot be changed, and that is not interchangeable. And these interchangeable entities cannot touch it. So, but we have to bring ourselves into the fold of it. Right. Now, when I think about what the prophet done, he's that's why he said he the Jesus in these times. He the last prophet, because Jesus came to bring us the same thing. That's why he kept saying, I am the way, the truth, and the light. He's just like the prophet because he was recognized as that through.
It's that same spirit. It's that same.
Right. So I was about to say they're the same person.
Yeah, it's the same spirit.
Reincarnated over and over until he got it right.
And they was on the same mission.
He got it completely right.
And they was on the same mission to uplift fallen humanity. And you have to go and let's look at the ancient days. Jesus called you to come through him. And he said, if you want the truth, the light, you come through me. He said, no man get to God unless they come through me. And that's why, because he was established as a prince. He was established as a prince that had the mandate to his nation. And because if you notice, he went around to all the church, the Fallopian church, the church of he called Church of Solomon, all these different churches, not Solomon, but the church of he just went, I can't think of any names right off, brain fart on that, but he went around to many churches, and he wrote to all the churches because he was the sultan. And when you start to read the Bible with different eyes, you start to see that he was checking on all the churches, trying to make sure everything was ran right, and that the people come in. He was trying to bring us into our safety net, which is the church.
And sister, when you said that the prophet was saying, how can you get to the father or the mother without going through me, but without going through him? And the prophet know that we're all gods on the land. What do you think that he meant?
He meant that he was saving you from the merchants. See, this is all about mercenary and commerce. He was protecting you from. He built the same thing that the prophet did, but he knew that state has no authority over church. They cannot make no laws or set no rules for church. So where's your safety net? Church. Same thing with prophet temple. He built that temple because he understood that the temple, when you become a member of the temple and you carry that card, that nationality card give you national standing. For now you international. Your temple protect you from commerce and from maritime law. Because no laws can establish. So those maritime laws, once you the temple protection, you under that temple protection and you establish your charter, your members are protected as well. With the nationality card, now they're international. Now international law applied to them. Because that's not just a membership card. That is a international ID.
Islam, well, I'm going to tell you what it meant to me. It meant to me that because we are gods on the land and we were born in sin and iniquity because they shaped and formed us under a de facto colonizing government, not knowing who we were and not knowing who we are. The prophet came to teach us to be ourselves. So that's how we get to the mother Allah through him, because he came to teach us to be ourselves, and ourselves is Allah.
And on that spiritual thing, when he teach us to be ourselves, and the biggest thing that this is like, it's spiritual as well, but a lot of the things that we think be so spiritual is really just really common thing. It is really a hitting way of how they protect us from maritime law, because Jesus, he knew he was a prince. The only way we protected under the prophet, because he was recognized from the Sultan. He could have had these temples and all, we could have been protected just with regular laws, with the charter, but we wouldn't have international recognition. We wouldn't have the treaties, because that treaties, us tying ourselves back to the treaties, gave us international recognition.
Okay, well, with the audience that's listening, a lot of people know, we keep saying Jesus, 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 and Jesus, the letter J was never in the etymology of the language, and that Jesus means justice. With the Moors, Jesus means justice, so we call him Brother Justice. Brother Justice is what we call him. Jesus means justice, we call him Brother Justice. And the brother, so they know it was no brother hanging from a tree. They talking about a cross. Where the hell the cross come from? When they hang our people on a tree. That's who it was. It was that same spirit, the same way Prophet Noble Drew Ali went through all of the lynching and all of the problems and the deprivation that he went through and the hardship. Is the same way Brother Justice went through it. That's that same spirit that came back in different form. That's who that is.
Right. And when you look at the secret, the secret brotherhood that the prophet brought us, he called him Yahshua.
Islam,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, he called him Yahshua.
That
So,
secret brotherhood was something
and
serious.
Salum.
That secret brotherhood was a band of angels. They were helping the prophet.
Yes.
But you know, the prophet used Jesus because he said some of my best Moors are still in the temple. I mean,
he
still
said,
in the church.
and what he say? And what did you see? He said, I recognize
some of his best members were in the church, still in the church, and that's all they knew was Jesus.
Yes.
So that's why he used it.
So yeah, to the everyone that's watching, you know, we're gonna the time is 2:04, 32 seconds. Look, I'm reading the seconds as well. But I think this was a great dialogue, even though we didn't get to follow the PowerPoints and we just dialogue behind it. But I think we brought a lot of great information, and I'm more than sure that we kind of like gave people some things to think about when it comes to the 501c3 and what the Prophet Noble Jew Ali created, and whether other people can do what he did and still have the same standing. You can do what he did, but you won't have that same standing right now as Moors, and Moors that hold your nationality card. You are already recognized under the international arena. And if you want to come back under the affairs of men and be, we need to do what the prophet said, do put him in the front. And once we put the prophet in the front, all these other things shall be added unto us. So I understand what he's saying. So what we would try to do is come back on next week on a Friday, on the holy day, and
happy holy day, everyone.
Yes, happy holy day to all the Moors all over the world.
Happy holy day.
Just to sum up everything, we're gonna I'm gonna pass it to the sisters, to my sisters, and the mothers of the world, sister, so we can get your final words before I give mine. So I'm gonna yield to you, Sister Shan, which is the Wazir of Omar. So I'm gonna yield to you, sister. You can give us your last closing remarks.
All right, thank you. Islam. Yes, Wazir of Umar, United Moroccan, Alodia, Anti-Ohio. I just want to say that, just reiterate some things. Like she said, the prophet had been reincarnated through all the prophets. You know, he had came through all of them. And of course, I don't know if anyone, I'm not going to say right now, maybe we'll leave that for the next one. But I like for people to think about who was he that he could create, that he could keep coming back and be reincarnated. I would like to know if anybody would know what God he was, because he was a God, or he is a God. I also want to say that this was great. I want us to go more into the OAS, because I know people don't understand that, don't really understand what you're saying, and don't kind of, you know, that's the missing piece, the missing puzzle. Because like I said, I never heard of the OAS until you had brought that up. So that's very significant. That's a missing piece that's very, very significant, and it's going to tie everything together and give people an aha moment. So I can't wait until you get to that point there. I had some other things to say, but it just slipped my mind. So I'm gonna. Oh, one other thing I want to leave with is when you said that the prophet said that your card is going to change in your pockets, is that when the Moors back in his days, they were using their cards out against the Europeans. They used to pull their cards out and make the Europeans get off the sidewalk that they were walking on. They would pull their cards out and say, "Look, I'm a Moor. Get off the sidewalk while I'm coming down the street." And the Caucasians would do it, because at that time the prophet was well known and they knew who he was. And so the prophet had to tell them, like, "Look, y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop pulling out your cards and making the, you know, Europeans get off the streets and all that. Like, y'all just like overdoing it now. Like, come on now, we can't, you know, we're gonna cause some animosity." So that was just how powerful the prophet was in his day. He was very powerful. He was very powerful, and they knew it. They knew it. And so I will leave with that.
Islam. Thank you, sister. All right, Sister Wisdom, give us your wisdom.
Well, Islam, I say the prophet's still on the scene, still very powerful. Never stop being powerful. Still on the scene with all of us. And I just give gratitude to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in this perspective place, because the Prophet have done some marvelous things, some wonderful things. The matriarchs on this call, you know, you are divinely appointed for this mission, as all of you have a significant amount of wisdom and knowledge to spread. And the people that are listening, I just want them to realize that this is what we have learned thus far. And every day that we live on this planet, on this plane, we're constantly learning, because the colonizers came to do a terrible job to us, to take away our knowledge of being ourselves. The most powerful thing you can do is learn about yourself. And as Elihu's lesson in the Holy Quran says, and if you want to study some more, study yourself again. It's all about you. Every war they're having, it's all about us and our stuff. Everything that's happening in the world is all about the Moors. Everything now during this era of time, as the prophet has said, everything is going to be returned to us. And I'm just so excited. I feel it all in my bones. I get happy. I be playing my music and dancing, and I just think about it and I imagine it. And the more I think about it and imagine it, the more good news that I hear. You know, the better things happening. You know, I let go of the job that I was on, and I'm just feeling I feel so light. I feel better that I did so. So you have to trust that instinct that's within you. Anybody get anything out of this lesson, trust that still small voice that speaks in you. That's Allah, and guiding you. You know how you say something told me not to do that? That something is that Allah within you to direct your path. And each and every day get up happy and cheerful, and you know, and reward your vessel. This vessel is, you have to protect your vessel, and don't be eating the king's meal. You know, they talked about the Daniels in the book of Daniel, where Daniel's men didn't want to eat the king's food, right? Because they were eating all that pork and shit and all that other garbage that they eat, and they could not perform. Where Daniel and the king's men, they ate the fruits and the vegetables and outperformed. We outperform them. Even, you know, some of our people, even they eat bad, they still outperform them, because we're the gods on the land. We're just all of that and some more. We're beautifully and wonderfully made people. And I get excited to see melanated people, and I see dark complected melanated people, and I tell them, I compliment them, you are so beautiful. You know, we have to give each other those compliments and let each other know, because we're binded. We're under one bond. We're all connected. Everybody is connected. So as I do it unto you, I'm only doing it to myself. I just give all of my love and light to everyone that's listening. I give all of my love and light to the whole world of Moors, because we're rising to the top. I say Amin in Islam.
Islam, sister. Amin.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sister, for that beautiful ending. I thank you, sister. So I'm going to end with this. One thing I want to leave everyone is understanding the flow that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali created us. Understand that the article that he did, the Moorish American Science Temple, that's your shield of America. And I'm going to tell you, if it don't say the American, Prophet, the Moorish American Science Temple of America. The article is the shield. Now, this is what you file with the state. That's your shield, your charter. It creates a legal person that can sign contracts, open bank accounts, and open property and own property, so the members aren't personally liable for taxes and etc. The bylaws is the brain, as seen in your Article 2 and Article 3. These define who makes decisions. If the bylaws say the board must vote on purchase, a pastor cannot legally buy or building without the vote, which would be not a pastor, but a grand sheik.
Right.
Okay, and your statement of faith is the soul, and this protect your religious identity. Under the First Amendment, the government cannot interfere with your sincerely held religious belief, which are documented within Noble Drew Ali bylaws and principles. So when When your charter become a religious organization, you are essentially creating creating a contract between the organization and the state. And if you follow the rules in your articles of incorporation, you're from your first image, you are your church and your entity will be separated. And the law treats the church and your entity separate. And that's the thing the problem that we're having now. Our biggest problem is commerce. We don't need nobody to tell us how to love each other, how to do that. We already know.
That's right.
All the laws that they create is for commerce. And I have to just leave a last word about the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, because I tell you, I have fell in love with the prophet. Mm-hmm. And that love gonna build and build as I learn and grow. We're understanding who he is, and what he brought the Moors. So despite the conspiracies and the splits of 501c3s and charters and split of the Moors, Noble Drew Ali succeeded in creating a permanent Moorish identity in America. The movement paved the way for all later Black nationals and Islamic movement in the USA. Noble Drew Ali did that. So
Islam.
I just want to
That's so funny you say that you love the prophet, because the prophet said that. He said, once y'all figure out what I did, y'all gonna love me.
I love him.
Yep, he said that. That was one of his words. That was his words. He said, once y'all Moors figure out what I did for y'all, y'all gonna love me.
How can you not?
Right.
Now we can create our own thing, but why create something new when you already have everything? The wheel is already there, and all you have to jump on it.
Yep, it don't make sense.
All we have to do.
Islam.
So we want to thank everyone for listening in and tuning in, despite of our technical difficulties. And you guys seen that when I came on early, my lights went out. Now hers went out, and hers permanently out. And I'm so happy mine didn't go out. You know, I'm so thankful that we was able to, bring this forth. This actually, even the PowerPoint you guys seen today, I had to create that all over again today, because as I was creating it, putting it together early, working on it, my power went out and it came back on, and I lost everything. So I had to come back in today and try to get some within 2 hours and try to get some together to show and tell for today. So
good job, sis.
Thank you. So I spent like at least a week and a half putting together what I had to show, because it was a lot of show and tell. We have to show the people things that's going on. Our yellow brick road. We have a yellow brick road.
Yes.
And we have to get on it. And it's not going to leave us to Oz either.
Right.
It's not going to lead us there. And we got to understand that we have a lot of work to do, Moors, and we are calling the mothers to come forth, because what Noble Drew Ali understood was the mothers hold the titles to the land, and that's what they holding, the mothers' titles over there at the Dolls Row.
And it's only to protect them and their own family members, and to take back their status and have all of the pleasures of the world, because all of the pleasures of the world belongs to us.
Absolutely.
Everything. So we don't have to worry about bills and debt, because we're not debtors, we're creditors. They don't have to worry about being violated by these crooked policy enforcers, arresting you when there's no crime and they have no authority, no delegation of authority, and then being arrested by them and going before some demon de facto judges, when there have been no judges in America since 1789. And those judges were us.
And it kind of it really makes you us, and it really help you pay attention to the Moorish prayer, Moorish prayer, the Asiatic prayer. Do we have that available to close out on? I have it.
The ending prayer.
The Asiatic prayer.
The ending prayer. Yes, never beginning and ending.
Mm-hmm. You got it, sister.
Yes.
Well, I have it at home. I don't have it now.
Okay. Well, Sister Sand got it, and you want to? We're gonna close out with the Asiatic prayer, and we want to thank the Most High and our ancestors for bringing us this far and getting us through this. You know, even though we still came through with beautiful conversation and tied some knots that made me think, and I hope it made you guys out there think as well. So with that, we're gonna say Ashe, Ashe O. And we're gonna let the sister lead us out with the Moorish, the Asiatic prayer.
Islam. You can stand in silent benediction.
Take your time, sis.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking about the Asiatic prayer, not the 2 fingers on. Well, we can do that one.
This is the Asiatic prayer. There's an opening and ending. There's an opening and ending. So I don't know.
Go ahead, sister.
What other prayer are you talking about?
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, my apology.
Okay. All right. Well, you can stand in silent benediction. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creed and principles. Right. This we ask in our holy name in the 7 Elohims. So may it be.
Amen.
So may it be.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone. Peace and love and light.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Islam.
Islamism.